Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this is video 4 of, let me look at this name again. It's a long one. So it's a report of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, the committee study of the Central Intelligence Agency's detention and interrogation program. So remember, after 9/11, the suspected terrorists were rounded up. Anybody that was involved with maybe the planning of the 9/11 attacks and all that stuff, or anybody that was associated with, certain countries, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, I mean, whatever countries you want to name that has like more of a Islamic flair to it. They were looking for those people, or anybody associated with like Al Qaeda, maybe even the Taliban, if that was even a thing back then. But anyway, the people, the detainees were, let's just say, not treated so kindly, considering what they would do to you if they got their hands on you. So we'll just leave it at that. But anyway, so we're gonna start right here, page 24 of this report, and it's number 17. The CIA rarely reprimanded or held personnel accountable for serious and significant violations, inappropriate activities, and systemic and individual management failures. CIA officers and CIA contractors who were found to have violated CIA policies or performed poorly were rarely held accountable or removed from positions of responsibility. Significant events to include the death and injury of CIA detainees, the detention of individuals who do not meet the legal standard to be held, the use of unauthorized interrogation techniques against CIA detainees, and the provision of inaccurate information on the CIA programs or program did not result in appropriate, effective, or in many cases, any corrective actions. CIA managers who were aware of failings and shortcomings in the program but did not intervene, or who failed to provide proper leadership and management, were also not held to account. On two occasions in which the CIA Inspector General identified wrongdoing, accountability recommendations were overruled by senior CIA leadership. In one instance involving the death of a CIA detainee at Cobalt, CIA headquarters decided not to take responsibility, or excuse me, take disciplinary action against an officer involved because at the time, CIA headquarters had been motivated to extract any and all operational information from the detainee. In another instance, related to a wrongful detention, no action was taken against the CIA officer because the director strongly believes that mistakes should be expected in a business filled with uncertainty, and the director believes the scale tips decisively in favor of acceptable mistakes connect that overconnect the dots against those that underconnect them. What? In either case was administrative action taken in neither case was administrative action taken against CIA management personnel. The CIA marginalized and ignored numerous internal critiques, criticisms, and objections concerning the operation and management of the CIA's detention and interrogation program. Critiques, criticism, and objections were expressed by numerous CIA officers, including senior personnel overseeing and managing the program, as well as analysts, interrogators, and medical officers involved in or supporting CIA detention and interrogation operations. Examples of these concerns include CIA officers questioning the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, interrogators disagreeing with the use of such techniques against detainees whom they determined were not withholding information, psychologists recommending less isolated conditions, and Office of Medical Services personnel questioning both the effectiveness and safety of the techniques. These concerns were regularly overridden by CIA management, and the CIA made few corrective changes to its policies governing the program. At times, CIA officers were instructed by supervisors not to put their concerns or observations and written communications. In several instances, CIA officers identified inaccuracy in CIA representations about the program and its effectiveness to the Office of Inspector General, the White House, the Department of Justice, the Congress, and the American public. The CIA nonetheless failed to take action to correct these representations and allowed inaccurate information to remain as the CIA's official position. The CIA was also resistant to and highly critical of more formal critiques. The deputy director for operations stated the CIA Inspector General's draft special review should have to come to the conclusion that our efforts have thwarted attacks and saved lives, while the CIA General Counsel accused the Inspector General of representing an imbalanced and inaccurate picture of the program. A February 2007 report from the International Committee of the Red Cross, which the CIA Acting General Counsel initially stated actually does not sound that far removed from the reality, was also criticized. CIA officers prepared documents indicating that critical portions of the report are patently false or misleading, especially certain key factual statements or claims. I'm messing that up. CIA Director Hayden testified to the committee that numerous false allegations of physical and threatened abuse and faulty legal assumptions and analysis in the ICRC report undermine its own credibility. Number 19, the CIA's detention and interrogation program was inherently unsustainable and had effectively ended by 2006 due to unauthorized press disclosures, reduced cooperation from other nations, and legal and oversight concerns. The CIA required secrecy and cooperation from other nations in order to operate clandestine detention facilities, and both had eroded significantly before President Bush publicly disclosed the program on September 6, 2006. From the beginning of the program, the CIA faced significant challenges in finding nations willing to host CIA clandestine detention sites. These challenges became increasingly difficult over time, with the exception of country. The CIA was forced to relocate detainees out of every country in which it established a detention facility because of pressure from the host government or public revelations about the program. Beginning in early 2005, the CIA sought unsuccessfully to convince the U.S. Department of Defense to allow the transfer of numerous CIA detainees to U.S. military custody. By 2006, the CIA admitted in its own talking points for CIA Director Porter Goss that absent an administration decision on an end game for detainees, the CIA was stymied and the program could collapse of its own weight. Lack of access to adequate medical care for detainees in countries hosting the CIA's detention facilities caused recurring problems. The refusal of one host country to admit a severely ill detainee into a local hospital due to security concerns contributed to the closing of the CIA's detention facilities in that country. The U.S. Department of Defense also declined to provide medical care to detainees upon CIA requests. In mid-2003, a statement by the President of the United Nations International Day in support of victims of torture and a public statement by the White House that prisoners in U.S. custody are treated humanely caused the CIA to question whether there was continued policy support for the program and seek reauthorization from the White House. In mid-2004, the CIA temporarily suspended the use of its enhanced interrogation techniques after the CIA Inspector General recommended that the CIA seek an updated legal opinion from the Office of Legal Counsel. In early 2004, the United States Supreme Court decision to grant I don't know, or certiorari in the case of Rasul versus Bush prompted the CIA to move detainees out of a CIA detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba in late 2005, and in 2006, the Detainee Treatment Act, and then the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Hamdan versus Rumsfeld caused the CIA to again temporarily suspend the use of its enhanced interrogation techniques. By 2006, press disclosures, the unwillingness of other countries to host existing or new detention sites, and legal and oversight concerns had largely ended the CIA's ability to operate clandestine detention facilities. After detaining at least 113 individuals through 2004, the CIA brought only 6 additional detainees into its custody, 4 in 2005, 1 in 2006, and 1 in 2007. By March 2006, the program was operating in only one country. The CIA last used its enhanced interrogation techniques on November 8, 2007. The CIA did not hold any detainees after April of 2008. Number 20, the CIA's detention and interrogation program damaged the United States' standing in the world and resulted in other significant monetary and non-monetary costs. The CIA's detention and interrogation program created tensions with U.S. partners and allies, leading to formal demarches, I don't know what that means, to the United States, and damaging and complicating bilateral intelligence relationships. I'll have to look that word up. In one example, in June 2004, the Secretary of State ordered the U.S. ambassador in country to deliver a demarche to country. In essence, demanding country government provide full access to all country detainees to the International Committee of the Red Cross. At the time, however, the detainees country was holding included detainees being held in secret at the CIA's behest. More broadly, the program caused immeasurable damage to the United States public standing, as well as the United States' long-standing global leadership on human rights in general and the prevention of torture in particular. CIA records indicate that the CIA's detention and interrogation program cost well over $300 million in non-personnel costs. This included funding for the CIA to construct and maintain detention facilities, including 2 facilities costing nearly, that were never used, in part due to host country political concerns, and to encourage governments to clandestinely host CIA detention sites or to increase support for existing sites. The CIA provided millions of dollars in cash payments to foreign governments. Officials, CIA headquarters encouraged CIA stations to construct wish lists of proposed financial assistance to redacted entities of foreign governments and to think big in terms of that assistance. Wow. This is just a bunch of like footnotes, stuff that needs to be looked at. I mean, I'll put this in the description. Oh my goodness, this is like a long one. I'm not reading all this stuff. I'll let y'all do it if you're so inclined. Because some of it's just redacted information. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. This is going to go on to the executive summary, and then we'll start maybe doing another video. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.